What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 14th day of November, and here we are at about $95.4 thousand with 9 hours and 31 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, okay? I did do a kind of general analysis on Bitcoin, but we included some other thoughts in the in that most recent video. I want to get a little bit more nitty gritty and talk about the short term stuff here, what I'm expecting. I do believe that we have found a low. I think that within this pattern, we are literally at the low. And by necessity of this pattern, if we don't want to break out, if we don't want to engage a move that likely takes us below 80K and down as low as about $70,000, in which we would break below this last significant macro low of the bull market so far. If we want to avoid breaking serious structure, we need to avoid going really any lower. I mean, this pattern, it can't be really more perfect than it is right here, right? Like it's pretty spot on, and we are literally right at the low right there. We're literally right at the trend line with this low right here, so we can't go any lower, right? It's not that we can't go lower. I'm aware anything can happen. We can go lower, but we can't go lower if we want to maintain the integrity of this bull market, if we want to maintain the sanctity of this pattern. And we were counting on this partial decline. We were counting on this to save the day and be the reason why we were moving up higher, but we didn't get that. We had a false. And I'm not going to lie to you. Statistically speaking, when you have a partial decline that gets given back to like this, I mean, we've had two of them now. The probability of breaking out to the downside now is greater than it would have been if we just had a move down like this, right? Like it's a bit more probable that we could break to the downside. Now, I would say overall, with the context of this pattern being at a high point, we moved up into this pattern for 3 months, beforehand. With all this going into consideration, I think the statistical probability that we break out of this pattern to the upside is still greater than breaking out to the downside, even here at the base of this pattern. But it's something we should be aware of, that moments like this where you get a partial decline and then you give it back, that does up the chances of breaking out to the downside. So we need to be aware of that. Again, breaking below, if we get today to close below, and really you want to see 2 days, I would say closing below. If we close below like 94K today and tomorrow, or anywhere around there, really. I would even think if we close, let's see, yeah, if we close at 94K, 94.2K or lower today or tomorrow, or 2 days in a row, that will likely break us out of this pattern, and that would condemn us to a bear market. It absolutely would. Now, with that being said, there's some things to mention, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but we have very high levels of fear right now. There are an absolute absence of longs right now. There's no longs. There's 1.2 billion in longs. It's crazy. I've never seen this lack of longs on the Bitcoin or Ethereum charts over the past 30 days. It's crazy. There are a ton of shorts piled on. We're certainly ready to move up higher. I want to look at the short-term stuff. I want to look at the indicators and go from there, okay? Let's look at the 1 hour time frame here and just see that as we're moving lower, volume is dying off a little bit, which is nice, right? But maybe not completely dead. It would have been nice if we didn't have this large spike here in the middle, to be fair. If we were just dying off consistently, we're at lower levels here. The 1 hour RSI does have lower lows in it, no bullish divergence, right? And oftentimes I do think that that the market makers mess with people, right? Because whenever you have this here, whenever you do have bullish divergence, it's like you expect a bounce. All of these hours you're expecting a bounce, and then finally you get rid of the bullish divergence. That's when you bounce. It's not when you have it, it's when you get rid of it. Stochastics have bullish divergence, and the MACD, I would not say the MACD is bullish divergence. No, I would not say that it does. So looking at the 4 hour time frame here, the RSI is oversold. We are right now at the same levels that we typically are whenever we find support, at least over the recent weeks. Stochastics are oversold, very oversold. It looks just like this. I mean, imagine here, you got very bearish right here, right? That would have been at a low point. You would have been, a little bit concerned that you got bearish at the wrong time. Imagine you got very bearish here at the end. That was a low point. Well, we've been in this oversold zone for a while. I think we're at the end. I mean, in the sense of like comparing these ranges here, this range looks a little bit bigger even than some of these last two did. So I do think that we're overdue to move up higher. That's all I'm trying to say. The stock market actually just opened up. Stock market just opened up 3 minutes ago. Let's look at that real quick. SPX. and just see. Hold on. And let's see here. Okay. Yeah, stock market opened up to the downside, -1%. That's not good. That's definitely not good. We don't want to see that. I mean, the government shutdown just ended. We should be seeing the markets come to life, right? That's what we're expecting. The fact that the stock market's coming down, typically when the stock market opens to the downside and it moves down, Bitcoin moves down with it. I must admit, though, I think we're doing all right for the price. I guess we are moving down a little bit, aren't we? We have moved down a little bit over the past few minutes. Let's just see. Yeah, okay. We moved down a little bit with the stock market opening, but just a little bit. Nothing crazy. I have to admit, this is actually kind of nice to see. Typically, when the stock market opens down like that, you would expect to drop a little bit more. Are we coming back up? Do we have any lift right now? No lift at all. But Bitcoin's going to come back up. Anyways, it has to. It makes sense that we're coming back up because we have to. We literally have to. We can't go any lower because if we do, we're breaking out of this pattern and the bull market is over officially there. So we have to hold this low. I think that we will. If we look at this on a weekly time frame, we take the low, our last macro kind of discernible low, to our high here. We have hit the 0.5 area, which Bitcoin throughout this whole cycle has actually found a lot of significance at its 0.5. We go from the low here to the high right here, and you found support right there just below the 0.5, but basically right at it, okay? You take the low here to the high here, and you found support twice at the 0.5. If we put it at the actual high, you found support literally right there at the 0.5 twice. If we were to take even like this from a high to a low right here, you found resistance right here at the 0.5 too. Look at that. You found resistance like twice right there as well. Is it this low to high that we take? No, that was the 382, which is still good support, but low to high here maybe. Golden ratio. You found support here at the 0.5 twice, but the golden ratio was your low, to be completely fair. We take a low here from this discernible low to this high, and where did you find support? You guessed it, right there, right at the 0.5, just above it. It's not perfect. The 0.5 is technically not a fib level. Technically not. But for whatever reason, we're respecting it. And I want you to understand, just because we're doing it now doesn't mean we always will. In fact, the 0.5 is typically disregarded entirely, or it's a momentary level of support, if anything, or resistance, depending. You know, it's not really regarded as like an end-all, be-all level to regard. But this cycle, we have been regarding it very, very well. We've been holding true to this level and this zone very, very well. So here we are, right at it now, and look at that. We're at 96K. I think we're going to find support here, you guys. I really do think that we're going to find support here, and beyond all the other things we've talked about, you know, just like we were talking about in yesterday's Bitcoin video, this consolidation phase has lasted just as long as this one, has lasted just as long as this one, has lasted just as long as this one. They're all within a range, a margin of like 2 to 5 weeks in difference, right? Something like that. If we look at this, the beginning of this consolidation phase was here. We started to move up. I would say we started to move up here, right? At that low, that's when we started to move up. Not when we broke out, but when we started to move up, it was about 26 weeks, right? Here, even at the end of the bear market here, we started to move up. I don't know, depending on how you want to draw it, it could have been here 23 weeks at the low. Maybe it was more like 28 weeks or 29 weeks right there. That's probably how I draw it. That's when we started to move up, is what I would say. You know, here we were consolidating, and we started to move up here. So that was 26 weeks. Look, 26, 26, 29, very, very close to each other. Here, I would say we started to consolidate here because this was our diamond top pattern. You guys remember the diamond top? Everybody was talking about it. We identified it, I think, first before most people did, but that, who cares? That doesn't matter. But we still were consolidating, I would say, as of here, and we didn't start to move up until here. That was about 20 weeks. Okay, so that's a little bit less time than some of these other ones, but still roughly on par with a lot of this. And then here, I would say because of the range that we're in now, I wouldn't say that we're just in a megaphone pattern. We are in a megaphone pattern, but we're also inside of an overall greater range that I think we've been consolidating in. So here, we've been consolidating really since there, and it's been, as of now, 25 weeks. So I think with this overall consolidation and the way that we've seen this happen throughout the rest of the market, we're at that point where we're going to start to see some life soon. We've seen it from a time perspective. We've seen it from a fib perspective from pulling back. We've dropped overall 25%. The average drop this cycle has been from 21 to 33%, right? Somewhere in that range. We're literally right smack dab in the middle of that range. Fear is at very high levels here. The government shutdown ended. We've got very low levels of longs. The shorts are off the wall. I mean, I think it's very obvious at this point in time, guys, that Bitcoin's going to bounce right here and we're probably going to have a dramatic recovery. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if by the time most of you guys watch this, Bitcoin is potentially even back above 100K. Like today should be, I think we're going to have a really good reaction today off of these lows. And again, the main reason, there's so many reasons. We've gone over so many reasons as to why we can expect to find a good reaction here. But for me, the most compelling reason, and it might not be, it's probably not the most compelling reason for a lot of people, but I go off of a lot of faith, I have to be honest, is that the necessity, the strict necessity to hold this line, if it breaks, it just disregards, it completely will make everybody rethink everything about the bull market, right? And I had someone telling me that we were in a falling wedge. I don't know where the falling wedge is. Somebody was saying it in the comments. We're not in a megaphone. We're in a falling wedge. But this is not a falling wedge, sir. This is a megaphone pattern. I don't know what falling wedge we would be in. Maybe here. Maybe is this it? No, because that's from the 10th. We don't want to include that. Maybe back here. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Just so anybody, if anybody is thinking that, I don't know, maybe there's a falling wedge here, or maybe it's like right here. I don't know. Like that. No, that's like a channel. I don't know. You know, if you're looking at falling wedges ever, just for future references, although I don't think we have one here, falling wedges are prone to fake outs, right? So they're prone to fake outs. If this is like a breakout of this range over here, they're prone to fake outs. So we likely do return to the upside, or if you're breaking out to the upside, you likely do return to the downside. Let's just see if we can find an example of that real quick. Wedges. Let's see. Right here, right? Like this is a wedge, isn't it? Wouldn't you call that a wedge? I would call that a wedge right there, right? Lower lows, lower highs. It's a falling wedge. It's a little bit more broad, but here you had a fake out to the downside, and then you move to the upside, right? It's actually very common with these wedges to do something like that. Let's see if there's another one. Kind of like right here. Let me delete all these things. Somebody brought it up in my comments, so I'm just trying to clarify here that if we break out, because they're like, if we break down, it's the end of the bull market. I'm just trying to show you that we've had, you know, with this falling wedge, look, you had a fake out to the upside, fake out to the downside. You had a lasting or a more significant, I would say, fake out here to the upside, and then you went down, actually, right? It's like you were actually breaking out. You actually had a daily close. It was more than just a wick. You broke out to the upside, and then you went down. Falling wedges are very prone to fake outs, just so anybody knows. Megaphones, however, and fake outs happen no matter what. They always happen. So we can definitely fake out of this pattern here. And for those of you that don't know or can't put two and two together, a fake out is a false breakout, right? It's a fake breakout. We can have a fake out of these patterns, but typically with these broadening patterns like this, they're very serious patterns. And if we do break out, you know, I'd wait for 2 days in a row to close below this pattern. If we do, that likely will send us lower. Okay, if we close 2 days in a row below, we likely do go lower. But I think this, I just think this is too well respected. And maybe someone's calling this a falling wedge. I don't know. It's definitely not a wedge because it's broadening, but you know, some people, everybody interprets things differently. I would just say that if this pattern holds, as long as this holds, we're okay. And we'll know that it holds once we get back above this level here. Technically, until we're above 116.4K, it is completely possible to go below, right? But once we get above here, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it, man. We're moving up higher. It will be exciting once we get back above about 107K when we take out this lower high. We stop forming lower highs when we actually take that out. That'll be a very significant thing right there. But I think the most significant level is 116.4K. I mean, the most significant level is the all-time high, but this will validate that this is the low or whatever the low might be. I think that we're moving up from here. I don't really have anything else that I want to say, so I'll probably just end it there. Stock market's recovering a little bit, so maybe that's why Bitcoin's getting a lift as well. I do expect that we will have a bullish recovery. And we might even have a bullish weekend. We might have weekend stagnation, right? It is Friday, so Saturday, Sunday might be stagnant. I really wouldn't be surprised if the fear and greed index got into extreme fear, and whenever it does, that typically marks a low, almost always, right? I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.